Welcome to the D-Hub Challenge. Welcome to the D-Hub Challenge.
This is where teams of developers are vying for an award of $350,000.
And a chance to bring their tech solutions to life.
The Ministry of Digital Transformation is building a digital ecosystem where citizens interact with government services seamlessly and efficiently.
The ministry launched the D-Hub Challenge to pair teams of TNT developers to organizations to co-create solutions to address real-world problems.
Every week, 3 teams of specially chosen coders will pitch their solutions to a panel of experts.
All competitors must be a member of the D-Hub.
This is the D-Hub Challenge.
Our Developers Hub project builds on the creativity of our people. What we are doing is pulling together people, like-minded people who are developers, and we're starting with software developers at the start to create software that will support the needs of government, support the needs of the private sector, and eventually create products that are exportable. So the concept here is, can we create an environment where developers can create the capability to go from idea to producing viable products that could augment the system the government put in. To do that, we also have a technology site, and the technology site is an actual website, it's an actual hub, so we call it the Developers Hub. So that platform is the primary interface between us and the community at large. And we have 15 people who are now awarded and now actively working on solutions. So we're training developers not only to take an idea, express it as a proof of concept, pitch it to a buying audience. One of each of those 5 will win. They will then get an implementation award, and they will produce a minimum viable product which will go into production. This is an initiative to drive the digital economy. This is about growing its contribution to GDP. So we're hoping that this becomes an alternative source of foreign exchange for the country and keeping the intellectual property that we create, which is accrued value, local.
Customs and Excise is about to improve the liquor license process. Let's take a look in today's episode.
The Liquor License Challenge is owned by the Customs and Excise Division. The Customs and Excise Division needs a digital data solution for all of its liquor license information. Currently, various Customs and Excise offices in Port of Spain, San Fernando, and Tobago store their liquor license data independently in the form of manual registers, Excel spreadsheets, and access databases. Right now, it takes 2 weeks for a request for this information to be processed because clerks have to email or call another office and order copies of records from that office. The successful app would collect and sort information from all the customs offices which have the information stored on site. A digital solution would provide reports instantly for better data-driven decisions in the division. And it would mean better and faster service to the public.
Let's meet our panel of judges for today's challenge.
Carla Hooker, a Customs and Excise Officer 3 in the Customs and Excise Division, Ministry of Finance, has had a varied and distinguished career path. She worked at the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, and the Service Commission Department before the Ministry of Finance. She uses her MBA and other leadership training as she lectures at the Customs and Excise Training School and participates in its strategic and operational aspects.
Michael Blackman is a retired Comptroller of Customs and Excise, a post he left in 2018 after entering the division in January 1994. Michael served in various managerial positions in the Customs and Excise Division, including Officer in Charge of Angostura. Michael served on various cabinet-appointed multi-agency committees and chaired a regional customs-related steering committee. He now does customs consultancy on a limited basis.
Lisa Maria Alexander is CEO and Chief Strategist of the Leadership Experience. She is a certified chartered director and a gender consultant in the Caribbean on behalf of the Inter-American Development Bank. Lisa Maria was recently certified as a balanced scorecard professional. She has degrees in industrial management and advanced marketing.
For today's challenge, let's meet our first team of developers.
Akshay Siddharth from Cuva, the first member of Team Developers, says his goal is to be a data scientist. The next member is Kyle Jaimangal of Newgrant. Kyle became a software developer after watching how computers and video games were made and the coding process involved. Suvir Ramsamaru is from and still living in Longdonville and Palm East. Suvir's first tech heartbreak, after spending roughly 2 weeks prototyping, developing, and coding an algorithm for a microprocessor, the algorithm did not work. Better luck today, Suvir.
Taj Ramude of Team Developers hails from St. Augustine. His exposure to software development during his degree program was the perfect catalyst that piqued his interest in the field. And to aspiring developers, he advises that you invest considerable time in your learning and embrace online forums as a pivotal tool in your journey.
Let's check in with our developer team before they make their pitch.
We went to university together and did the same degree at UE, electrical engineering. And after that, we heard about the competition. Well, I actually heard about it from a colleague, and then I suggested it to them. It was a way for us to apply all the skills that we learned during our degree.
I was kind of really happy to be able to work with all four of us together. And that was mainly my motivation to do it.
We're all friends, so we tend to kind of go off on tangents, and maybe it doesn't help the efficiency as well as we wanted to. We wanted to kind of touch on every single aspect of what we wanted to develop. So I do feel like maybe if we had more time, we'd be able to touch on more of the added features we wanted to do, but I feel like we had a pretty comprehensive POC that shows what we're capable of doing and shows what our final solution will be able to accomplish.
I think the biggest support would be amongst ourselves, keeping each other in check and ensuring that we all did the best that we could do.
Kicking things off, let's bring on Team 1, the developers.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. Your time starts now.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I have established this is my associate Akshay. We are half of Team Developers, and we'll be presenting our proof of concept for the Liquor License Management Challenge. Our team consists of a blend of recent and current students of the University of West Indies, focused on our vision to digitalize all of the government's processes for Trinidad and Tobago to enhance service and efficiency. The main problem is that the CED uses outdated and manual processes for the majority of liquor license management, which increases workload and decreases efficiency. Based on this, we were able to identify 3 main factors we believe contribute to the problem, and we're able to use them to design our final solution. Firstly, data access. Currently, data is scattered through 3 main offices, which increase time taken for data validation as well as preparation and sharing. Secondly, hard copy reliance. Currently, the current data storage formats include hard copy, which is an outdated but also risky approach. There are the risk involved with manual upkeep, which include damage of data and loss of data through misplacing, as well as time taken to search through files. Finally, inefficient workflows. Currently, data gathering takes up a staggering 2 weeks to do, and on top of that, that also leads to a bottleneck, as each liquor license may take longer to process as data has to be gathered through each office. To solve this, our solution is a web-based platform that provides a real-time and accessible database that all CED employees can access at any point at any location, as so long as they have access to an internet browser. They'll also provide an automation feature that will help to benefit both employees as well as the general public. Our solution sought out to achieve 3 main objectives. Firstly, we sought out to achieve an accessible and unified data platform to provide a central point of access and data storage in order to ensure that there is real-time, instantaneous access for all CED employees. Secondly, digital transformation. Our application will provide a seamless transition from legacy data to new data to ensure that all data kept hard copy-wise has a safer lifetime, as well as is less likely to be prone to errors or even to be lost. Finally, workflow optimization. We intend to implement a report generation feature as well as a unique analysis tool that would allow for data trends to be discovered easily, as well as allowing for all the data to be stored efficiently.
Our POC approach was guided by the CED's perspective of the problem. It began with a Q&A session to grasp the core issues being faced by the CED, followed by a site visit for a more in-depth analysis into their current systems. Collaborative workshops were alongside our ongoing development, enabling us to continuously refine and successfully deliver our POC solution. From this research, we were able to craft a scalable web-based application that laid the groundwork for our final solution. The data importation and standardization tools allows the CED employees to seamlessly integrate their existing data, as well as a personalized report generation tool for quick economic insights into the data. Beyond meeting just the basic specs, we also introduced features that will enhance the daily operations of the CED. This includes our unique analytics tool that would allow for data-driven decision-making, our unique ticketing system for managing entry of premise visits that could potentially be automated in future advancements, as well as a tailored dashboard for license holders to view and monitor their license data and statuses. This solution also had great improvements in data accessibility, reducing delays from 2 weeks into just seconds by consolidating all the data from the 3 offices into one central platform. The solution also boasts real-time data management, instantly available customizable reports, as well as analysis tools that turns hours of manual work into seconds. We ask that you join us in realizing our vision of digitalizing the government processes in TNT, and we hope that you give us the opportunity and support to create the next stage of our solution and bring our concept to reality. And I now invite the rest of our team for the demonstration.
Hi everyone, I'll be starting the showcase for our liquor license web application. To begin, as a liquor license holder, if you'd like to visit the Customs and Excise Division webpage, you can do so by navigating to this link. And you can also view your licenses by inputting your national ID and BIR numbers. Once this is correct and exists in any database, you will view a dashboard containing all of your licenses that you currently hold and a summary of its details. If you would like to know more details about this, such as the issue date and expiry date, you can do so by clicking the View Details button. Additionally, if you would like to know how to make a payment, more information about how to make a payment, you can do so by clicking Make Payment, which will take you to an external webpage containing more information about this. You can log in using your work email and passwords. Once correct, you'll be authorized and you'll be logged into the system, where you'll be greeted with this dashboard containing a table of all of the licenses in the database. This table is virtualized, which means that the data is only loaded as you go through the table. This favors the client side and also the performance of the web page. Additionally, the table is heavily customizable, allowing you to hide columns, sort by ascending or descending order, and also sorting by any sort of text. If another CD employee makes a change to the database while you are currently on this page, you can refresh the table with the newest data using the refresh button.
And data can be entered in 3 ways: manual entry, Excel import, and Access database import. First, here we have our manual entry feature, and this is a form to be filled out with relevant license holder information. And once this is successfully filled out, another form will appear which shows information to be filled in for the licenses for that license holder. And once both forms are successfully filled in, you will return to the home page of the dashboard. And now our second importation feature is Excel import. And clicking upload, the page will update to show mapping between the Excel headings and the headings in our license data database. And our third and final import feature is Access database import. Next, we have our delete button. And moving on, we have the license holder management, which is similar to license management, but it contains information on the holders for those licenses. You have the same search function and the action buttons for editing and deleting. Moving on, we have our ticketing system. It is unique as it adds our entry of premises as a ticket using the Add Ticket button. And this is also in the form of a form to be filled out, and this will add the visit as a ticket. You can schedule the ticket by clicking the number and clicking schedule and selecting the calendar dates. Finally, we have the Enter Premise Report form, which is a form to be filled out by the EOP officer when they visit a premise or business. And this information will be filled in if they have any breaches or any misplacement of information.
Next, we move on to the reporting feature. Clicking the option in the nav bar will allow the user to select their start and end date for their customizable reports, as well as the particular license status that you would like the report to be based on. After this is selected, you can click the Download License Report button, and this will load the report into a new web page. This is a customizable report that is generated based on the data you selected. So you would have the total revenue generated for the option, as well as the number of licenses for that status for the period. We also created an analytics page more focused on revenue. This is the new license revenue analysis page that has the similar tools as the previous page, but more geared towards revealing insightful analysis into revenue. And necessary for all dashboard with sensitive data is the user management. This is specific for administrative employees who would be able to edit, add, or remove CED employees. We now open to any questions you may have.
Is this app usable, or the system usable for an officer out on the field?
Using the web framework, we catered for both mobile and as well as local desktop applications. So if an officer is capable of bringing either a tablet or if he wants to use his mobile phone, that is an option for him. The website will scale down to accommodate his needs, and he'll be able to access the website as long as he has internet connection as well as an internet browser.
You talked about the user, somebody going to get a license, a bar or whatnot. Could you just zero in on that process a little bit in terms of functionality, accessibility as a user who may or may not be as savvy to be able to, what's required of the user?
As of right now, this does not accommodate specific applications. However, if somebody was to access this and they'd like to learn more, we have offered links to Customs and Excise, the actual website, to allow them to find out more information about applying for their licenses. In the future,
right,
there is the ability to offer that. We do offer them the option to apply. That will go through the system. This was part of the automation procedures we were mentioning.
Right.
In the event that they do want to apply, this website is fully capable of accommodating it as so long as the development allows for it. It will not be, it's not like we have to make significant changes to framework in order to make it happen.
Right.
This is one of the main reasons why we went with the website. It's the most scalable and the most developable option we could come up. But to also answer your question, should they want to view their own licenses, should they already be a license holder, there is the option that we try to make it as obvious as possible. To say, if you want to view your licenses, you simply view your licenses, your national ID and your BIR. So you can, simple information that should be readily available for a normal business owner. Right. They can utilize that information, log in, and they'll be presented in a simple tabulated format on our dashboard, all the licenses for them to view.
That you've ever applied for?
No, these are the licenses that exist within your database.
So tell me, if I wanted to apply for a license, I would be able to go online and I would be able to prosecute all business online and also make a date for the visit to my premises.
This is specifically about the final solution, because the POC as of right now does not accommodate that. That was not one of the requirements for us. But in terms of for the final solution, yes, that is something that is very much possible. This one, as I said, is one of the main reasons we went with a website. It's a scalable and very development-friendly option. So if you were to want to apply, as of right now, as I said, we can only really route you to the Customs and Excise Division for more information about that. But if you wanted to do it through here, it is possible. The way we probably go about that is that you will be able to submit your forms that you would have filled out. I know that sometimes agency will do it for you. You fill out your forms, you submit them here. Regular license, as I said, and also we have a ticketing system as well that could be expanded to provide tickets for incoming applications. So you would come here, a CED employee would view your ticketing information on the ticket, say this is an applicable license that you want. We have the dashboard, the application they come up on the dashboard. You can see your status as well as when there is a final schedule for your EOP visit. It can appear here, and then officer will come, he will give you his verdict, or maybe he'll show up here, and when the license is approved, you can receive notification of that.
Developers, thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation today. We appreciate seeing all the developers. So it's great that you brought your team, and you know we have some clarity around what it is you're doing. Your user, your primary users, I can see is in fact the challenge holder, but you have the scalability to go to the end user as needed. That's my understanding. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much today. All the best with this project and all the others you have in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Oh.
Now, let's see what our judges have to say.
So challenge owners, what are your thoughts?
Well, I thought initially when they just started, they could have seen the news, but that is expected. But in terms of the content,
yes,
I thought they were on point in the content. They could have been a little bit more clear in some aspects of it, but generally I thought that they did very well.
Great.
Yeah, I think that they needed to slow down a little bit.
Sure.
And allow the person that they're pitching to get a grasp of what they're saying. I think they responded well to the questions in terms of, you know, the possibilities and the questions that were put to them.
That's excellent feedback, Michael. That's excellent feedback. And I actually share that. And I also felt that, you know, with 4 persons there, the passion was missing, you know, a little bit. And when you know, you can be an excellent technocrat,
right?
But you've got to sell it.
Yeah,
you've got to sell it. And you have to sell it to people who are not technical.
Exactly.
So I think that would have really helped. So it's good. It's good that, but the content that they technically very well.
Yeah, the voice is a bit soft.
Yes.
When it started off, so you were barely hearing what they were saying initially.
Yeah.
And eventually they came into their own. But as I said, they could have been a little bit more clear.
Yes, but you know, overall, it's a great start.
Yes, I think so.
We faced some challenges through this and we seem to power through it.
The idea of a company was always tossed around, but after successfully completing this, I think we have a more serious approach to actually completing projects and meeting the requirements.
It was actually quite enjoyable to work together as a team, honestly. Even though there was sometimes some sessions where we just were completely blank, we were still able to make fun of it and continue to push off the next day.
I think this strengthened our bond.
Yes, for sure.
The second team is
111 Technologies is the one-man team of Tyrell DeBeek. From Maloney Gardens originally, he's now a resident in Santa Rosa Heights. His coding creativity is sparked by considering user requirements and considerations towards user adoption. His advice to young developers: the tech industry is evolving rapidly, so staying adaptable and exploring new technologies would set you up for success.
Let's check in with our developer team before they make their pitch.
Prior to starting 111 Technologies, I was a full-time visual artist. When COVID hit, I turned to Jamila and said, well, nobody's going to be buying art right now because that's a luxury. So that I had to find something else to do.
Well, 111 was established to provide solutions where we saw that solutions were necessary. That was always what we saw that we would do. So for us, this is another opportunity to provide a solution. But Tyrell and I are in that we're very patriotic, so we're always looking at, hey, there's a gap here, there's a gap there. So it's an honor to be able to do it, to actually even be here and to provide a solution. And it's an opportunity for us to create something that people would be able to use and would actually impact the way that they work.
We are still unknown. This is a good opportunity for good PR and good marketing. I have noticed that since our names were released and images were released, that our LinkedIn connections have increased from different persons in different fields. And you need this kind of PR because everybody likes to bet on a winning horse, you know. Win, lose or draw, this works out. This has begun to work out for us. When we win, it will work out even better. I am locked away in my room or my desk area and I work on my task. I just try and remain center, you know, as best as possible, calm nerves and so on, so that, because I'm not very well with speaking in a crowd, you know. As you can tell, I'm very laid back, you know. My wife does mostly talking on behalf of us. So this is now a reversal of roles, you know. So right now, just to get myself in that kind of headspace to explain my concept, pitch it properly, and then see what happens after that.
All right, judges, I am sure that you can agree with me when I say that we are off to a banging start, right?
Yes, definitely.
So let's keep the ball rolling and bring on team number 2, 111 Technologies.
Hi everyone, my name is Tyrell and I'm representing 111 Technologies today.
Welcome. Your time starts now.
Thank you. So today we're going to introduce CATE. CATE stands for Compliance, Auditing, Transparency and Efficiency. CATE is going to revolutionize the way that Customs and Excise Division handle license management. So let's move on one time. Now we need to acknowledge the hurdles that were faced by the CED division, right? Those hurdles included scattered liquor license data. They also had accessing data from 3 different locations. They needed real-time instant information, and they needed to be able to import import legacy data from the existing systems into a system. So that's what we had to address, along with efficient report generating. Now, CATE is an entire platform that is built for the user in mind. What they had before were access databases, Excel databases, manual logbooks, and no one could access information from any office at any point in time without going through a different period of time, extended period of time, I should say. So we decided to focus on the users being the visiting officers, the data entry clerks, as well as the executives who carry the information. So our first thing that we're going to look at was the user experience at the forefront. As I said before, user experience is at the heart of CATE, right? So everything is about how do we make it easier for the users. When we make it easier for users, we have happier workers. When we have happier workers, we have a well-functioning government or division. We receive user feedback, and then we immediately make those changes to reflect the user feedback, because at the end of the day, I am building, but someone else is using it. So I can't build for myself, I have to build for them. Our development process is based on agile development, like I just said. So the minute that we receive any information, we find out if it's pertinent, we see how it could work, and then we implement it immediately. Now, this rapid iteration kind of environment ensures that you end up with the best possible product at the end of the day, which is what you're going to look for. And by adopting user-centric design and agile methodology, along with rapid prototyping, we embrace this entire cycle of continuous refinement, because change in order for something to be perfect, it requires to be changing and evolving as we go along. When we spoke to the challenge owners, or received information from the challenge owners, they were saying that they wanted to house their solution on physical servers. 111 disagrees with that. This entire thing is about digitizing and modernizing the way how the government works. Now, federal databases in the United States of America are hosted on servers online. The Trinidad and Tobago government is comfortable using the Microsoft ecosystem, Microsoft Azure, which is their online hosting that is very secure to the point that federal databases are used by that. So we are recommending, in order to migrate across from physical, which has additional expenses in terms of rent, maintenance staff, security, air conditioning for these servers, we can save all of that and put it into somewhere that is secure and ensured by a company that they already have a relationship with. And because it's on the cloud, it is scalable all the way through. Now, this foundation as well allows us to, again, innovate continuously and ensure that CATE remains on the cutting edge of technology. So because it's on this digital server, what is going to happen is that in the minute that any change that is seen to be useful, we can implement it immediately. So the thing we have to work on is user adoption from there. That is my time, and I'd like to move on to my app demo, if you're okay with that. We have 3 teams that are vying for this competition, for this particular challenge. And all these teams were tasked with the same thing: clean up data and create a database. Now, that is what I did, right? I can point out to you how it reflects the color story and the branding of the customs excise, which you requested. I can draw your attention to the high-level statistics that are dynamic and always current and changing on every day, as we can see. I can even demonstrate how we can create new data, how we can read and update present data, and how we can delete data. If we were out on the field and we had no network abilities, no Wi-Fi, no internet, I can even indicate to you how it has offline capabilities so that visiting officers can now go and implement and enter data, and then when we reach back to a secure network, the information is now updated to the database. But like I said before, it's a database. Every one of these teams was chosen for a reason. They had the technical ability to do this. So at the end of the day, everybody's going to show the same thing. It's just the only thing that's going to be different is the cosmetics. I can even try to go a little bit further and show you that it's mobile responsive, so that it can be done on a laptop. It can also be done on a phone. Thank you for your attention, and I'm open to your questions now.
Thank you so much, developer. Quite an innovative way of presenting there today. So I'm going to lead off with the questions because my question is along the users. You know, tell me, what have you considered so that the average citizen who's going for a license has a better experience based on what you prepared?
This same application form was built to be so simple for the data entry clerk, and then tested with someone who had no idea about the project, no idea about what data management was, and we asked them to fill out the form. And in no time, they were able to understand that this is what this does, and this is the purpose of it. They were able to see all the different type of licenses. They were able to see what was available to them and what was not available to them. So, in order to, that was part of future-proofing it. So what we would do is that we would simply take this same form and we would post it on a separate application, but all that data would go back to the same database that is housed and operated by CED. And by it being on a mobile phone, and again on the cloud, the minute that a license is approved, the applicant will be notified immediately. So therefore that cuts down the time. And not only that cuts down the time, but that also cuts down on lines, that cuts down on traveling time. That means that someone can set up their bar, hotel, restaurant, event today, and once everything is in order and they be approved, then they can start operating by the next day.
You are almost 100% sure that most presentations would have almost the same thing, say for one aspect of your presentation, which was your ability to think about problems and deal with it before they actually presented themselves. My question is, what gives you that confidence that the problems you anticipate will in fact be the problem that the people you want to sell the program to will encounter? Will you be getting feedback from people in the field? Have you yourselves, have you guys gone into the field to get a first-hand experience of what it is like to have to go through the manual system, and therefore you understand what is required?
I wouldn't say that it's confidence, I'll say experience. I have been a field service agent before, so I understand that sometimes there's information that you don't have on hand at the point in time. And I understand that sometimes there are problems like that. We won't ask to develop a mobile version of the application. But the minute I heard visiting officers and they need to go and visit somewhere, they also need to take photos. Maybe they need to capture signatures. There's no need for a clipboard. There's no need for a sheet of paper. There's no need for a pen. They will always have problems that I didn't think about. And that's why we are focusing on user-centric design and user feedback. If it's a problem, if a visiting officer tells me that don't work, then we need to go back to the team and say, guys, the end user is saying that don't work. So what can we do to make it work, or what is the alternative to it? And that's the approach that we'll take for the entire duration until we get it right.
Developer, thank you so much. Thank you for being innovative even in your presentation. That's an important part of selling your good idea. So congratulations on just looking at it from a different perspective, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How do our judges feel? Let's check in.
So, challenge Jonas, wow, he gave us something to think about.
Yes.
What was your thoughts?
I found that the presentation was very interesting, the way that that team chose to present their solution to our problem was quite interesting and different to what you would normally see.
Different good?
Different good, yes.
What about you, Michael?
Well, I think it was clearly articulated.
Yes.
And, you know, you had an opportunity to really follow what he was saying. It was very engaging.
Yes,
I think it was an excellent, cleverly orchestrated presentation.
Yeah, I definitely would want to recognize the fact that they went over and above and they looked at who is going to give the solutions rather than the solution itself, which is sometimes half the battle.
I mean, I hope that you were able to follow along and you were able to really get where I was going at.
After finishing the pitch, is there anything that you would have changed or you would have liked to change?
No, not really. Not really. I thought about it for quite a while and I'm confident that this was the way to go.
Introducing our third team of developers for today's challenge.
Trini Code Hunters member Angus Chai Hong hails from Chaguanas and says he's here for the challenge as well as the monetary reward. Virendra Baldeen of Princestown. Virendra never planned to go into software development. He just went with the flow out of school and ended up pursuing it as a career. Next, team creator Julie Koon from Arima. Her lecturer from university told her about the competition and she thought it would be a nice experience to get involved in. She then created a team comprising of colleagues from work. Initiative, that's a developer. Finally, Michael Sam from St. Augustine. He's here because he wanted the opportunity to build something that could positively contribute to change in his country.
Let's hear from our developers before their pitch.
I actually heard about the contest from my professor at UE, and I work with these guys, and I know that they're really gifted. So I was like, all right, let's make an A team. It took a little bit of convincing to get them to agree because you know they're gonna have to sacrifice a lot of their time. But after we got past that level of convincing them, we had a really nice flow going.
My background did start off in software development, but I've been kind of away from that for a bit. I'm more in databases now. So this was an opportunity for me to kind of get back into the core of software development.
I wanted the opportunity to be able to develop something that would be used by members of the public in my country. So it was, for me, it was more along the lines of patriotism.
All right, team. Last moments before you head on to pitch. How are you feeling?
A little bit on nerves, but we ready. Ready.
Yeah, same.
All right, judges, are you all ready to see our final team for this challenge?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So introducing last but certainly not least, Team 3, Trini Code Hunters.
Hi everyone, we are Trini Code Hunters and today we'll be presenting our liquor license data management solution for the Customs and Excise Division.
Welcome. Your time starts now.
Our team comprises of 4 members, myself, Julie Kunken, Michael Sam, Virendra Baldeen, and Angus Chaihan. So our team recognizes the pivotal role that the Customs and Excise Division plays with managing and overseeing the distribution of liquor licenses in Trinidad and Tobago. We are pleased to present our solution to help streamline as well as simplify the current processes. So what is the problem faced by the Customs and Excise Division? So currently, information on the liquor license data is stored on manual registers, Excel spreadsheets, database access, and information retrieval is quite difficult. In addition to this, the information is decentralized, so information stored at one location would not be stored at another. For example, information stored at the San Fernando branch would not be found at the Port of Spain branch. And the current way that the system works is that to retrieve this information, they'd have to call persons, send emails, and so forth. And this is quite timely, so this leads to long lines, excessive customer wait time, the information not being readily available, as well as staff burnout. So what do we propose to combat this issue? Our team proposes a liquor license data management solution that consists of a customer web portal. This would be used by customers to input data, information, as well as get status updates and so on. It also consists of an admin portal, which would be used by administrators of the Customs and Excise Division to update these records, as well as modify and use this to send back feedback to customers. It will be networked offices. This means that information throughout all 4 offices will be readily available to staff. It offers robust data security through role-based access, as well as validation checks. It also has a simplified workflow due to it having the customer login page and the admin login page, which kind of streamlines the data flow. So what do we propose? Our solution offers a clean, simple user interface for customers to upload their information, as well as get easy updates. The information stored is also stored on a centralized database, which means that information is readily accessible through all of the different locations. The system is also built using the solid development architecture, which offers a scalable, robust software platform.
The system works by providing input screens for the customer to apply for their license, or the admins at the Customs and Excise Division. Those applications would then be processed by Customs and Excise Division officers, and the application would also allow them to schedule intra-premise visits. And the output from this would be all the reports and necessary data that the Customs and Excise Division needs. Right, our approach, we went and did site visits to gather the information within the current processes. We used that information to develop our database to make sure we could contain all the information that we needed. We then worked with sample data, making sure that we were able to capture everything. We developed our front end, which will be for the customer or for the admin user. And we tested and then reiterated where needed. Our team is ready, willing and equipped for proof of concept as a modular framework, and the benefits, the system has maintainability, and we have a lot of production experience as well. So we'll now go into the demo.
So it features a login page. This is the admin login page. So upon logging in, this is a demonstration of what our dashboard would look like. It currently pulls information from the databases and gives you at a glance reports or statistics. This is tied into our reporting system, so it's modular, meaning that we can liaise with the challenge owners and add statistics that they might want to see at a glance. So this can be modified. At the moment, this is what we opted to show for our demonstration on the page. Because this has to be initially set up, the super admin user would be used to create users. So given that you now have multiple offices all under one system, you'd want to be able to control who has access to what. So we built a permission management system to implement role-based access control, where you would come in here and you would initially create an office. Here you'd fill out the form and you'd create a customs office. You fill out the information for the office and it will give you one of these entries. After creating an office, we can then come in and select add departments for the office. So because they do have field officers that do the entry and premise visits, you could create a department for the field officers and you then have rules in that department. The application is governed by these rules, meaning that a grade 1, as a grade 1, a user assigned to this role has only the permissions that you assign to them based on what the admin or super admin would have filled out initially. After creating the offices and setting up the departments and roles, you will then create the users. So I guess in the department, heads would administer the users for the department. And here you would fill out the form. So with John now created, John can be contacted and let him know that his account is ready and you can now log in and begin working. Here we come and we go to the new client section. This is where we'd initially fill out the information for new customers that wish to apply for a liquor license, assuming that this customer doesn't want to go through the front-end portal. So maybe it's a person that's not as technically inclined and they want to come in and fill out the forms. The administrator would then take the forms from the customer and fill out this section where we have the information that the customer would provide. These fields were governed by information we would have gathered from the Customs and Excise Division, and they would have filled out their business information, so their business name, the type, different types of business, and if your business has a branch, this is where the user would then have to specify the information for that branch. In addition to that, you can come here and add additional businesses from the screen, assuming that the owner is already in the system. If information on a branch changes, and for example, the contact information, this is where you'd come and you'd edit the contact information for that person and update the information for the particular branch. As for the application process, when a customer fills out the form on the front end, they fill out the application form and a new entry is generated in this table. Here is where the back-end process, I guess all the validation that the Customs and Excise officers would go to the other external stakeholders to verify things like building plans, etc. They would go through that process and they will come here and update the status, which would then give feedback to the customer in the front end so they could see precisely where the application is, at what point in the process the application is currently going through.
The entry on premise is something that needs to be scheduled when you apply for a liquor license. So what we have is a calendar display that will allow the person to select a date that they wish to have requested for the visit. Once they have selected an available date, on the customs side, they'll be able to select that request and assign a field officer to it. The system will allow for the unscheduled visits as well, which are done by the field officers, that they could go visit a location and they could come in and record that they visited that location on that day.
In addition to that, the dots on the screen also gives the administrators an idea of how many visits are booked for this one day, as well as when it comes to assigning field officers to go visit a premise. Let's say, for example, one officer is going to San Fernando, or particularly, let's say, for a short example, let's say an officer is going to the Mount area. You would want to do all the businesses in the Mount area on that same day. So you would, because the address is shown here, it will give them an idea of how many people they can assign the same officer to, so that they can account for the area that that officer would be visiting and kind of maximize on their time. That covers our demonstration for today.
Do you have any questions?
Yes.
Challenge owners, go ahead.
Certainly, very good presentation. I wanted to find out, you spoke about the customer login page. What information will be captured on that page?
Exactly what the application form would have. For the purpose of our demonstration, we opted not to add it because it's basically just another form. So we're trying to maximize on our time.
You also spoke about that you did some site visits. Were there any challenges that you encountered when you did these site visits?
So,
for
the site visit, when they say challenges, I mean, one of the things that came up would have been persons not having collected their documentation and those types of things, but having the data in a centralized location would assist in that.
Tell me about, the sort of time as an officer in the field that this will facilitate in order for me to upload a license or start the process.
So because this is web-based, it can be accessed from any device, including mobile devices. So officer in the field, rather than having to come back to the office to do something, can just pull up the information in real time and see what information or update any information that this client might have on the system, and without having to transit back to your office to do it, as well as you mentioned, one of the challenges were getting information from between offices. So rather than going, if I'm from the San Fernando office and I'm working in the San Fernando area, but I need to deal with a client who may also have a branch in Port of Spain, I can update that information right there on the field without having to then go to the Port of Spain office and say, hey, I need to get this information updated for this client for the Port of Spain, from the Port of Spain office.
And so it's mobile enabled as well, your web application?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for your presentation today. Just in terms of a little feedback, we're happy to see the team. We're happy to see the diversity on the team. I'm sure the challenge others, would bear me out in terms of just your ability to articulate your solution. And we want to applaud you for that. And really, we want to just wish you the best of luck in this challenge and the ones ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's find out what our judges have to say.
Well, I found that they were really exceptional in their presentation. What I liked, how they started, they identified what the problem was.
Right.
They started at that first point and then they moved on to their approach, how they're going to solve this problem.
Yeah.
It was a kind of easy flow from start to the end. It was very easy.
Well
for them.
structured.
Well structured, yes. So,
Michael, your thoughts?
Yeah, I made some notes because they were very engaging. They had me riveted. It was refreshing to actually see when people had that opportunity to speak about what they had developed, to actually see it in action, actually see them manipulate the system.
Right.
And so that was extremely, extremely refreshing. I thought that was very creative, very innovative. And they also covered various scenarios in the demonstration. And then the fact that they spoke about having done the site visit and the function testing.
Yes.
It gave them a little added over. Yes, it gave you more confidence in what they're selling us, right? So I think it was a well put together presentation.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy choice. It's not going to be an easy choice.
So that was our final team for this challenge, and so by now you all know the drill. Lock in your scores.
Does she like fancy things?
I'm really glad we got through with the demo as well as the presentation without getting like a buzzer or something.
We did get everything in there for both the pitch and the demo, which is good. I think we have a really good chance.
Could have been better, but it was good. It was good. Yeah?
I'd say it was good.
It was good.
Yeah, it was good.
So we just saw 3 innovative solutions from 3 ingenious teams. Okera, how are you feeling?
I mean, to be very honest, I feel amazing. I felt like there were so many personal highlights for me, but I want to gauge the judges. Judges, each of you guys, what were some of the highlights in this particular episode for the Customs and Excise for you? Let me start with Mr. Blackman.
Oh, thank you. I think one would be the fact that they took the time to do the research and that the solutions were very, solution-based and based on the actual problems that would have presented themselves. And of course, like I said, what was very refreshing was to actually see one of the systems in operation. And obviously, the developers have thought about the end user, because many times things are developed, but obviously they would have thought about the person who has to use it at the end of the day. And they have even extrapolated it a little further in terms of the public use as well. So that was absolutely great.
Thanks so much for that, Mr. Blackman. Ms. Hooker?
Well, for me, the presenters demonstrated that they did their homework from the perspective of identifying what the problem is and coming up with solutions. And they also exuded a lot of professionalism. All the teams were very professional in their presentation, so that was quite refreshing for me.
Love to hear that, Ms. Hooker. Lisa Maria?
Well, I am really blown away by the level of innovation that we saw in this challenge, and people stepped it up a notch in terms of being able to deliver not just what the challenge owners wanted, but going beyond. There was a lot of future proofing in terms of the solution. So I think it's a real standout.
Love that. Thanks so much, judges.
What I think was also, encouraging was the fact that one of the teams dealt with the scenario where the person is not techno-savvy. So they actually had a solution that dealt with someone who can't go online or an elderly person who chooses not to. So there was also the other option within the same technological environment. So that was very, very creative, very innovative, and forward-thinking.
Thanks so much, especially Mr. Blackman, because I feel like sometimes we don't always think about the entire ecosystems and and all of our citizenry. And that just leads into my next question. In terms of the tech talent that you guys saw displayed before you today, what do you think that augurs for our development in terms of creating a digital Trinidad and Tobago?
I would say it was marvelous. I would say it was marvelous.
I would think that, we need to probably harness that talent and start exporting it. Why does Japan or China have to be at the forefront of everything?
Agreed.
We have some young, bright, intelligent, forward-thinking people who we should find some way of monetizing and making this into some sort of entrepreneurial, enterprise. Yeah, definitely.
Everyone showed that they were very tech-savvy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I would actually like to add that, outside of the challenge and this particular the hub, there is also an opportunity to combine the best of so many of the different development to either for the solution or for other solutions. And I think that's going to be where Trinidad and Tobago really wins. When we take the talents, take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and put it together and get something great.
Definitely agree with you there, judges.
Yeah. Any final remarks across the panel?
This was a very refreshing experience for me. I really enjoyed this entire experience, and I hope that we will have much more of this in the future.
Awesome. I know I'm excited. I'm leaving here inspired. So thank you so much, judges, for your time, for your insights, and for joining us on the Developers Hub Challenge.
That's it for the Liquor License Challenge.
3 teams based in communities across the country,
all trying to solve a common problem we face as Trinbagonians.
There are 5 D-Hub challenges.
Keep watching to find out how local developers solve problems in Trinidad and Tobago.
And that's it for this episode of
The D-Hub Challenge.